You have any crazy delivery stories?
Oh, fuck yeah. Hell yeah, I do. Okay, so one time I had who would look to be about a 14-year-old girl, like really young, couldn't have been more than 90 pounds, like 4 foot tall, answer the door, only wearing a cut-off football jersey. Like a jersey that came down just below her nipples. That's it. That's the only thing she was wearing. And I answer the door going, whoa! Just seeing straight shaved underage pussy. And I was like, what the fuck? It's like, God was not ready for it. I'm like, holy shit. And she was like, so is there any way I could pay for this pizza another way? And I was like, how old are you? And she said, does that matter? And I said, yes, it does matter. And she was like, okay, I can pay for it. And I was like, thank you. Gave her the food, she gave me money, and I left. That was one. I had basically a meth addict, obviously a meth addict, offered to blow me for a pizza once. Oh yeah. It was pretty disgusting. Like, I was really disturbed.
Another story.
Okay, I was working at Mama Foo's. Mama Foo's is the only place I've ever worked for that actually did have delivery vehicles. They're called the little Mama Foo cars. They're like little Nissan Leafs. They were super slow, super economic, super tiny, yada yada. And I was driving one of them around all day doing delivery, and I actually got really pissed off at my boss because my boss was really shit. When I got hired there, my boss was amazing. I loved everyone there. It was fantastic. Then he got promoted to another store, and we got a new general manager, and she was a piece of shit. She was a fucking stupid cunt. My God, everyone hated her. Everyone hated her so much that she decided to just get rid of everyone. So she started coming up with random reasons to fire people that didn't like her. And I was very vocal about not liking her. So she kind of put me through hell for a little while until she finally fired me. And one of the days she really, really, really pissed me off. I got into my Santa Fe that I still had at the time. That was at like 210,000 miles on the last end of its life. And I was pissed off, so I fucking turned that key on, fucking threw it in the drive, peeling out everywhere, fucking acting like an idiot, driving like a dumbass. And I get about halfway home, which is only about 2 or 3 miles away. And I see smoke coming out of my engine. I'm like, what the fuck? It's still driving. Why is there smoke coming out of the engine? Nothing feels wrong. So I pull over to the side of the road, and I can see like light coming out of it, like a fire. I'm like, what the fuck? My engine's on fire. I go pop the hood, and my front exhaust manifold that gets really, really hot because it's the exhaust was on fire. Because I was driving my car so hard that it was spitting oil out of one of the gaskets. There was oil spritzing out onto the manifold, and the oil caught on fire. So that was pretty fun. I kind of just let it burn out. It just kind of burned out, and then I drove it easily back home. One time I was going to a party out that was about 30 miles away from where I was, but it was out in like the country. Like it was all back dirt roads getting there. It was a little town called Riesel. No, it wasn't. It was past Riesel. It was way out past Riesel. I don't remember what it's called. It was just a little super podunk backcountry little town, and we were going out to this back road that it was just all we had was an address to go to, and they're just throwing a little party out on the road. So me, my friend Damon, Burton, Rick, and I had one more friend. We had 5 people. It was a girl. I think it was Damon's girlfriend or something at the time was with us. And yeah, so we're driving on these back roads, and I'm on this dirt road, And I'm like, hey, this is fun. I'm kind of like pulling the e-brake a bit, sliding it around, driving a little fast, having some fun. And that was not the problem. It was the only problem was it was dark. And I'm going about 40-50 miles an hour. And all of a sudden I realized that this road we're driving on does a sharp turn at the end of it. I'm like, oh shit. So I slam on the brake and we're coming sliding to a stop. So I'm like, oh god, I'm about to hit a tree. And because it was like a quick sharp turn that was kind of like blind. I didn't see it coming at all up until my headlights hit it, and I was like, oh, that's a turn, shit. Hit the fucking brakes, and we come sliding to a stop with the realizing it wasn't just a turn. It was a turn onto a bridge going across a cliff. It was probably about 20 feet down, and I came to a skidding halt with my front left driver tire hanging off the edge, and I just like reversed and slowly pulled it back up onto the road. It was so scary. We all, like, I pulled it back on the road. We backed up. I put the car in park, and everyone in the car got out, and we were all just standing around like, oh, we almost died.
Holy shit.
I've been through some crazy shit. Mostly my fault for most of it. Yeah, so since I dogged that car so bad, it fucked up the front alignment on it really bad. Oh, okay, so the reason why the front alignment was fucked up so bad on it was because I was after school one day. So me, my friend Rick, and my friend Cody, and Ernie, we all skipped school. Our last two classes, because I had college classes. I did half high school, half college for my senior year, and so there's college ends before high school does. Like the semesters end or shorter than high school. So I was already done with college, so I was leaving school after 5th period. Like it was lunch, one more period, and then I went home. And all my friends still had normal 8 periods. They had 3 more classes after lunch, you know? 3 or 4 more, whatever the fuck, however it works. And one day they're all like, man, you're so fucking lucky. Like, hey, we should all skip school and just go hang out with you. And I was like, do it, fuck it. So I was like, dude, if y'all want to skip, I'll skip I won't even go to my last period with y'all. I'll just skip after that one. Y'all skip 3 periods, or 4 periods, I'll skip 1 period. And they were like, hell yeah, let's do it, fuck it. So we all jump in my car. Or no, he had a car. My friend Rick had a car. He had a little Nissan Altima. And 3 of them jumped in his car, and I jumped in my car, and we're all going to go over to his house and go smoke weed. And so, one sec. Oops. Fuck. Okay, no, I'm good. So while we're all going out there and getting ready and getting in our cars, I'm like, hey, you want to race? He was like, fuck yeah, let's race. Hell yeah. I'm like, all right, fuck it. We're going to race to your house. Because he lived out in the boonies. So we kind of just we're like, okay, we're going to drive. We're going to take it easy up until we get to that road that just goes straight out into the country going out to his house. We're going to take it easy in town and not get caught. But once we get to that road, it's on. And we're like, okay, yeah, perfect. So we get out there and I'm following him. And I'm right behind him. And as we get to that road, I open it up, jump into the other road, and he realizes what I'm doing. He's like, oh shit, so he opens it up, and we're both just going, and I get past him, I get in front of him, I get back over in the lane, and we both slow down a little bit, because we're going like 110 miles an hour. He was getting a little worried. I could tell he was going. He was much more cautious than I was. I was just like, why? I don't give a fuck. So when he saw like I was kind of keeping ahead of him, he was like, shit, and he was keeping up with me. We're both just flying. And we get to this for the first turn. We're both slowing down. I take the turn, and we're right on each other. Going like 80, 90 miles an hour on this fucking little shitty, skinny road, following trees all along the road. Not even 12 feet wide road. Just flying on it. He's starting to get really sketched out, and I'm trailing. He's trailing behind me further and further, and I'm just still wide open. I get to this first turn. There's 2 ways to get to his house. You could either go take a right, then a left, and it would be like on the road that he's on, or you can keep going straight and you take a right and then you come back a little bit to his house. So I was like, I'm taking the shorter way. It's faster. So I go that way, and he keeps going straight. So I'm like, okay, this is a good test to see actually how how this is gonna work if I'm gonna beat him there. And so I'm going this road. I'm still just opening up, going 80 up, almost I probably touched 100 miles an hour on this road a couple times. And it starts coming up to it to the next turn, to turn left, and it's like a T. It's like coming up like this, where there's like a tree line, and I need to go left. So I start seeing it coming up. I'm like, okay, brakes. And I'm tapping my brakes, and nothing is happening. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, brakes. I'm like, I stomped the brakes. And it's just, I get a little bit. Oh, shit. Whew, I almost died. I forgot I didn't pay attention to what weight it was. Okay. I shouldn't have done that yet. It's okay. No, don't turn that on. So, we get to this turn. I start to turn a little bit. Or no. I'm slowing. I'm trying to slow down. My brakes are faded. My brakes are barely working. I'm like stomped as hard as I possibly can on my brakes. I'm just barely slowing down. I'm like, oh shit. So I take it wide. I get real wide, and I'm gonna try and whip it around this corner. Still going like 40, 50 miles, like way too fast for an SUV. I didn't make it. So I'm trying to get around it, and I go off and hit a tree, and it like bam, my back tire wham. I was like, oh my god. I'm like, the car's still running. Is it still okay? I get out, look real quick. I'm like, oh, okay. Fuck it. Get back in my car, throw it into reverse. I'm like, drive up, and I'm pull away slowly. I'm like, it feels okay. It still feels okay. Okay. So I'm going. I'm like, all right, picking up speed again. I'm like, the car's still fine. It's still fine. I get it all the way to his house, and I fucking beat him. I still beat him to his house. I'm sitting in his driveway, standing out my car, leaned against it, and he's like, damn, you beat me. I'm like, yeah, I beat you. You're slow as fuck, dude. I hit a tree and I still beat you. He's like, what the fuck? I'm like, look at my car. There's a massive dent right behind the front headlight and a fucking tree limb sticking out of it still. Like, my fender is fucked up. He's like, what the fuck, dude? I'm like, my brakes went out. Because of that, it caused some internal damage to my studs on my tire that hold the tire to the car, where you hear them go when they're taking the tire off. They're taking the studs off, the lug nuts off of the studs.
That's awesome as fuck.
Yeah, so my studs were damaged. I didn't know it. Whatever. But they hold together and last me for a couple weeks, actually. So me delivering pizza on them and everything. But a couple weeks later, I'm driving over to my friend's house, and it's his birthday, and we're gonna go paintballing. I've got full paintball gear. I'm borrowed my cousin's paintball gear, actually, Man of Wars. I had his paintball gear. And it's all in my car. I've scooped up my friends, and we're all heading over to his house. I go to his place, and on the way there, I can feel my car has like a little bit of a wobble to one of the front tires. I was like, something feels off about it. When we get to your place, I'm gonna have to check it out. I couldn't find anything. Like, I pushed the wobble, moved the car around. We jacked up the tire, and I felt the tire felt fine. I was like, I can't find anything. I was like, I'm just tripping. I don't know. Maybe it's nothing, you know. So on my way back to the little town that we were going to go pick up our last friend at, I'm almost to his house, and my car starts like woo 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 woo. I'm like, what the fuck? Something's happening. So this is not good. I'm like, what the fuck's going on with my car? And we're literally not even a quarter mile from his house, like easily walking distance to his house. All of a sudden, wham! My whole fucking car just wham! My front fucking right tire fell off my fucking car. And it's just ding, 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 rolling down the fucking road faster than me. Just bing, 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 bouncing down the fucking road, dude. Holy shit. Well, I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, everyone in the car is like, what the fuck happened? I'm like, my fucking tire fell off. All the little studs that were holding my tire on just broke apart into crumbs. There's just pieces of studs all over the ground. Honestly, I wish I could tell my favorite stories, but I can't remember my favorite stories because my favorite stories were while I was doing this. which you can't remember things when you're on that.